So obviously, if you guys watch Behind These Halls, you guys know I chow all my money. So what is budgeting, and what's actually the point of budgeting? Because I just feel like we know that we get money when we get paid at the end of the month, or maybe if you freelance and you do some stuff, money comes in. It's easy to spend the money, but I want to understand: am I supposed to be planning it like accordingly, short-term, long-term things? Like I'm not really understanding like what is the point of budgeting? Because I usually put up a spreadsheet and I just document my money, which I don't think is the point. So, what's the point of budgeting?
What's budgeting? So all a budget is it's a plan for how you are going to, how much money is going to come in, and then how much money is going to be spent and how you're going to spend it. Firstly, making sure that there is no immediate discrepancy between coming in and going out. And then to, like, most importantly, making sure that you are keeping the right amount of money and saving it and putting that towards your financial goals. So a budget is just a plan for how you're going to spend your money, right? But like all plans, there are good plans, very realistic plans, and then there are imaginary fairyland plans that have no relationship to reality, right? So I think the first thing about making a budget is don't try to just sit down and say, okay, this is how I'm now going to start spending my money. From tomorrow, no more eating out ever. I'm going to be incredibly like strong and powerful, never eating out, never going drinking again, never buying clothes, never gonna happen. Like, that's not realistic, okay? So the first thing you need to do is get the real data about how you are actually spending your money today. Being able to tell, okay, from all the money that came in last month, where did it go? The $1 million question, right? Now, there are a lot of really good tools that help you do this. I'm very biased. I'm going to suggest 22seven. It's completely free. You can download it, you connect it up to your bank account, and it'll basically categorize all of your spending for you. So you don't have to actually sit there with your bank statement and an Excel spreadsheet and go like, okay, I guess it was 1,000 Rand on that or whatever. It's all there, okay? I personally believe that it's really, really important to get real data to do this for you, because our brains are very good at like conveniently forgetting stuff that maybe is a bit inconvenient for us to remember. I know that mine does this. It's like, oh, I bet I spent, I don't know, 100 Rand on eating out last month, and then I actually go and look at it, I'm like, whoa, okay. So I think one of the things to say about this though, is that this process can be very emotional. Like, there are a lot of feels when you actually see in black and white, that's what I did with my money. And that itself can be, firstly, a thing that makes people just switch off and say like, I don't want to know. And it can sometimes be really painful. Like, it can be this moment where you sit and you're like, either feel really panicky because you're like, I'm screwed, I'm never getting out of this trap, how, like, I can't. Or really guilty often and like ashamed of themselves, or like they're not in control of their lives. So there are feels around this. So acknowledge that there will be feels. Feels are okay, right? You gotta like be forgiving with yourself and understand that this is a picture of your past. It doesn't have to look like what the future's gonna look like. But it also doesn't help to go and get the data and then say, okay, tomorrow is gonna be different. New Year's resolution, like from tomorrow we only eat kale milkshake, or like kale shakes, whatever. Like, it doesn't work like that. Getting your money under control is a lot like deciding you want to be like fit and healthy, right? You can't just like read a book about like how exercise works and then buy a gym contract and then that's it, right? You actually have to like go to the gym every day. You gotta like put your shoes on, go run around. That's what you have to do. It's that exercise, that practice. It isn't something that you just fix overnight. So I think you've just got to be like quite patient with yourself when you start this process, but you do have to have that real data. So I think the starting point is find an app like this that you like, set it up, start understanding what you're doing. I do this ritual with myself on payday every month. I call it my big monthly money review. It's like very cool. I make it a celebration moment. I pour myself some wine. I'm like, I try and make it nice because it's hard, right? But I'm like, let's make it as nice as I can. And I spend some time and I actually look at, okay, that's what you did last month. This much came in, that's where it all went out. Now, when you're making a budget in a spreadsheet, what you normally do is you write down all the categories of your life, right? You're like rent, eating out, groceries, cell phone, whatever, and then you like work out what you spend. So even though your app will get all that data for you, I actually like, it's a little bit weird, but I actually like to also put it in a spreadsheet just because that helps me think through it and think about how I feel about that. And then what I do is then I look at the month that's coming, that's starting, and I look at, okay, first day of the month, this is how much money has hit my bank account. I think about, firstly, are there any other sources of money that are going to come in this month? Any little side hustles, anything that's coming in? The next big thing that I start to think about are these big expenses. Now, one of the problems of thinking about your money only in like the short blinkered view is you forget that there are these things that come up less frequently, like the end of the year holidays, right? So on my spreadsheet that I keep, I have this area which is like, here are the year's things, right? December, school fees, if that's a thing for you, like, and you've got to have those up. And then what I like to do is I like to break that down by 12 and always keep a little bit stashed away so that like November doesn't arrive and I'm like, oh my God, it's September, we're like 3 paychecks away from Christmas presents. Yikes, like already that's making it. So like if you just chunk down those things, they're much more easy to deal with. Things like servicing your car, whatever. So that's the next thing I think about are these big expenses that are coming up and you plan them. Then what I do is I then look at my big financial goals. And I always start there because those are the most important things. Everything else has to give against those because those are more important, right? So you make sure that those go off. I think it's really helpful to have those go off as debit orders so you don't have to think about them, but you just make sure that they're planned. And then what you do is you then look at what's left. And then you look at like, okay, my actual day-to-day spending or like my bills, that's what they look like last month. You can't just go and say like, okay, I'm gonna halve them all this month. You've gotta make like little changes. And that's when like when I'm setting my budget, I try and create like a concrete plan for myself. So I'll be like, okay, this month I'm actually going to cancel this insurance I don't need. Or I'm actually going to like cancel this gym contract that I haven't, like I took out and I've never been to the gym or whatever. Or this month I'm going to focus on not spending too much money in this place in my life. So you can then make a plan about reducing your spending. But crucially, like, as long as you've like thought about the big important things in your life, the really cool thing is you don't actually have to stress too much about the day-to-day spending money. What I actually like to do at the end of my budgeting period is I work out how much I have, I call my fuck around money. Like how much is left. Like once I've paid for all the important things, I've paid for my bills, I've kept some money for the December or like the short-term things I need to think about. I've like saved all of that. What is left? And I actually have a separate bank account and then I just transfer money over and that's my fuck around fund. Nice. And then once the money is there, it doesn't matter. I don't really have to keep, all I need to know is my balance. I need to know my balance and how many days till payday. And like, honestly, if it runs out on the 18th and the rest of the month is like 2-minute noodles, it's okay, right? It's fine. But that money is for spending and I don't let myself feel guilty about it because it's my fuck around money. I need to go fuck around, man. Like, it's okay. That money is free money. And the beauty about having a good budget is it's really liberating because then I'm not stressed every time. I'm like, can I afford this? I don't know. Because I've done that calculation. I like invest the pain at the beginning on payday and then I have the freedom and the relaxation for the rest of the month. So those are my tips for budgeting. Have a separate bank account, make your fuck around fund, have fun. And I think budgeting is like, you can't start having a conversation about anything else until you start understanding where your money's actually going now and getting real about that. And I think talking a bit about the emotions of like, why do so many people like, not like you have the ostrich syndrome, right? We all have it and it's like too hard to actually look at because it's a lot of emotions and you have to confront. So I think that's a good budgeting.